It's Thursday, May 1st, 2025. Thanks for tuning in today. A lot to talk about, a bunch of notes here I'm going to share with all of you. You have to ask yourself, what recession? Everything seems fine today. The Magnificent Seven are back. Tech is back. Everything seems wonderful, while the average American is getting absolutely annihilated. The economy is just being gutted. We're losing jobs. It just goes on and on and on. But yet people will say, well, the stock market is up, so everything must be okay. And it's really the farthest thing from the truth. Market was up a bit today, nothing crazy, but it's amazing that it would be up at all when you look at some of the data that's coming out. But I guess good news is bad news. The markets have completely detached from reality. The markets don't care about your job losses. The markets don't care about where you live. The markets really don't care about you or small town America. The markets care about the bottom line. But at some point, the markets are going to pay a severe price here. But I will reiterate, the U.S. economy has been sacrificed for Wall Street, but Wall Street is going to have its day too. It will be sacrificed also. 9 signs that conditions are ripe for a major economic crisis in the United States. This on the economic collapse this morning. During the first 3 months, let's go through some of these here. During the first 3 months of this year, which was before the trade war, U.S. GDP was contracting at a 0.3% annual rate. 2, consumer confidence is absolutely plummeting. Most people that you know are not too confident about this economy. They weren't too confident about this economy a year ago, 2 years ago. Major layoffs are being announced on an almost daily basis. UPS just the other day announced 20,000 layoffs. The Port of Los Angeles incoming volume will be down more than 35% next week compared to a year ago. That is startling. If that happens, we are going to see big problems. Container bookings from China to the U.S. have fallen 60%. Apollo Global Management is warning that mass layoffs in the trucking industry are imminent. I've been reporting on all of this. I hope everybody's paying attention. I hope everybody's preparing the best that they can. 74% of Americans are working paycheck to paycheck. Student loan delinquencies in the U.S. have soared into unprecedented territory. 15% of borrowers are more than 90 days delinquent. 10 million borrowers could default within the next few months. 1 in 4 Americans say that they have unmanageable debt. These are going to be the people that are going to be in really, really big trouble. Get the debts paid off if you can, ladies and gentlemen. Get them at least manageable. We're getting a lot of words put out there on the television, a lot of optimism that everything's okay, but we're not getting really a lot of proof. I think the markets have lost all credibility. There are no fundamentals in these markets. All it takes is a couple words, and the markets can go up 1,000 points based on absolutely nothing. All it needs is words now. All it needs is hope and optimism, and the markets go up. But based on absolutely nothing but words and hope. But we're not really seeing any positive signs in the economy. Weekly jobless claims surged to 241,000, more than expected in latest sign of economic trouble, CNBC. The estimate was 225,000. I think we were up about 18,000 from the week prior. Are we going to see jobless claims hit 300,000? I think that's very, very possible, that we're going to see a time where it's 300,000 plus a week. We've talked about this a year ago, that the day would be coming when we would see huge cracks in the labor force. We're going to start seeing more and more people laid off in small businesses, medium, large corporations. It has begun. I don't see it slowing down at all. I believe it's going to accelerate. Be prepared to lose a job. Be prepared for someone in your family to lose a job, a spouse. You need to be preparing for this. Nobody is immune from this. Nobody can now avoid the risk that it's possible that you or a family member loses a job. The question is, how long can you survive if you or a family member, a spouse, loses a job? With economic uncertainty, Americans are spending less on fast food. This on Fox Business. we're seeing so many restaurants. Jack in the Box closing down 200 restaurants. Subway's closing restaurants. McDonald's has closed some restaurants. Everybody's closing restaurants. The mom and poppers, they're closing restaurants. Here's another one today from CNBC. McDonald's reports largest U.S. same-store sales decline since 2020. Same-store sales down 3.6% during the first quarter. So where are people going? I guess more people are eating at home. That's probably a lot better for you. It's a lot safer for you. McDonald's, I have not eaten at a McDonald's in a couple years. This food is quite literally dangerous. It is not good for you. It's horrible. You shouldn't be eating there, in my opinion. I used to get, coffees there quite a bit. I rarely do that unless I'm on the road. I might get one. But these places are now really suffering, and their prices are ridiculous. Last time I think I had a large iced coffee was from McDonald's was around a year ago, and I think it went from 3 something to 5 something. Unbelievable. I remember back in the day I was paying 99 cents for a large vanilla iced coffee at McDonald's many, many years ago. Then it went to $2, then $3. I guess now they're at $5. I don't know. Maybe they're more. I don't know. But people just cannot afford to go there anymore. Prices are just getting absolutely ridiculous. So more people eating at home, and I hope they're eating better. The shrinking sub sandwich, what's happening to a favorite American chain? This is Subway. Well, I'll tell you what's happening. The sandwich keeps getting smaller and the price keeps getting bigger. That's it. The quality of Subway, in my experience, has always been questionable. Remember, they were using fake tuna, then it was fake bread, fake chicken. You just didn't know what you were getting at Subway. Never been a fan of Subway. If you're going to have a sandwich, go to Jersey Mike's, 100 times better. But they closed 631 stores last year, and one time, Subway had as many as 27,000 locations. Now they have a total of 7,600. So you are seeing Subway shrink. Again, when you give people less food at a higher price, and I would say their quality of their food has always been questionable. And I've not eaten at a Subway in probably 10 years. But I would say that probably the quality's gotten even worse. So you have lesser quality, smaller amount of food, and a higher price, and that equals disaster. So they're probably going to be shrinking a lot more. Small businesses need immediate tariff relief. Chamber of Commerce warns this on Fox Business. Small businesses are an endangered species in America. Many of them are on borrowed time. Small businesses don't have the margin or capital reserves to sustain increased tariffs. They need help. Why are we not getting help? We need tax cuts for every man and woman in this country. We need tax cuts for businesses, especially small businesses. Honestly, they should be exempt from these tariffs. They cannot compete with the big boys. They just cannot do it. And this is going to be catastrophic if they don't get some type of exemption. It's amazing that Apple can get exemptions, the big automakers can get exemptions for things, but small businesses can't. They can't go, hey, we need these American, parts, because there's no American company that makes them. We're forced to buy them from other countries, and we have, 15 people that work at this little company. What are they going to do? More than likely, they're going to close. So I don't see things getting better, but markets up yet again today on all the good news. You're losing your jobs, you're losing your small businesses, you're losing your standard of living. Stock market goes up. Home builders are piling on discounts as they struggle to entice buyers. Wall Street Journal today. They're throwing in whatever they have to throw in. It's a swimming pool, it's the travertine floors, it's the custom shutters, it's the landscaping. They're doing whatever they have to do. They're lowering the prices a little bit. They're buying down mortgage rates. They're asking 0% down. They are doing whatever they can to entice people to buy a home from them. And it is not working like it used to. Soon, it's just not going to be enough. At some point, buyers just cannot afford this stuff, no matter how nice the granite is, no matter how nice the travertine is, no matter you threw in a stainless steel refrigerator, it's just not going to be enough. I just don't see how people can stretch anymore. And if they do, they're putting themselves in a very, very vulnerable financial position. Be very, very careful. The average American just cannot do this. How many Americans bought a house a year, 2-3 years ago, a new one, and then they just got their tax assessment, and the amount on their mortgage doubled because they basically were just paying taxes on the land, not the house. And they didn't read the fine print. Maybe these agents obviously weren't upfront with them. I see so many TikTok videos and reaction videos on this. You know, I had a $2,500 mortgage. Now it's, now it's $5,400. I had a $3,000 mortgage. Now it's $400 because they were being assessed on the land, not the new home that they bought. And now they're finding out, a year later, 2 years later, that they've got big problems and now they can't afford these homes. So what are they going to do? They can't even afford to get out of these homes. So a lot of people made some very, very big mistakes and they cannot get out. And so we're going to see more people having to sell. Here's another one today from Wolf Street. Now the multifamily commercial mortgage-backed security delinquency rate begins to spike, while office delinquencies respike to financial crisis peak. That's on wolfstreet.com today. You can, take a couple minutes and check that out. But it is just one crisis after the other. Now we have a multifamily commercial mortgage-backed security delinquency rate crisis. Commercial real estate crisis. Student loan crisis. Credit card crisis. It is one crisis after the other. And yet the market's up today. The people on the television are telling us everything's hunky-dory, everything's fine. Just keep buying into the stock market, buy the dip, go buy a house, go buy a car. And yet the average American is broke, 74%, 80% living paycheck to paycheck. And we have multiple crises taking place. One other thing I want to talk about is this trade war with China and what we could start seeing. Now that the ships are not showing up, we could start really seeing some severe cracks in a couple weeks. But I was watching a video the other night, and a gentleman was saying that over 30% of your food at the grocery store, when you go buy meat, you go buy chicken, you go buy seafood, it's in styrofoam, it's wrapped in plastic. Guess where that's coming from? It's coming from China. And what happens when the styrofoam and the plastics doesn't show up from China? How are they going to wrap your hamburger? How do they wrap up the fish, the steak, all that? We won't even be able to wrap up and sell the food that we have because we don't make a lot of this stuff. Over 30% of this stuff is coming from China. So I was like, man, I didn't even think about that. But think about just, how stuff is coming from Amazon in plastic, in styrofoam, in boxes. Most of that stuff isn't even coming from the United States of America. It's coming from China. So if you buy something, it's packaged from somewhere in China. The packaging came from some company in China. So another thing to think about, we may have the products, but we don't have a way to package them and ship them. You got to ship this stuff, right? In boxes, in plastics, in styrofoam. Think about that for a minute. Here's another article today from The Hedge. Peter Schiff. The bounce is just a bear market rally. Things are going well. The negotiations are going good. Were these comments that we keep hearing daily about, the trade war, about negotiations with 200 countries, are these words just floated out to the markets to juice the markets? Are they deliberately floated out? Probably yes. And look, I'm not opposed to this trade war. I think we have to put our foot down with these countries. But I think we also have to be very honest. And the problem I have with the administration right now is, unlike China, who's preparing their people for a economic warfare with America, they are telling their people, get ready, hunker down. We are heading into an economic war with America. Here, we kind of just deny it. We want to make everybody feel good. We want to juice the markets. We don't want anybody to be scared. We don't want anybody to feel any pain. So, it might be Trump, it might be Scott Bessent, whoever, coming out, floating that these words, everything is good, the hopium, the optimism, trade talks are going incredible. We have a deal. We're going to have a deal. We're close to a deal. We're talking to this country, that country. We got all these countries talking to us, yet we have no deals. I think it's misleading. I think it is leaving the American people very vulnerable. I think that this administration should be talking tough with the American people and being realistic and preparing them that we could be heading into some painful times. My opinion. Let me know your thoughts on that. Comment down below. Should they just be giving us the optimism and hope based on pretty much nothing, or should they be preparing the American people for some pain? Another thing, when does China realize that we are giving them IOUs that are going to be worthless for their products? We're just giving them IOUs that are literally almost worthless now, but at some point will be worthless for goods and other products. When do they realize that? And what happens when they do realize that? Or are they realizing that now? Do they even want to come to terms with America? We keep hearing how bad everything, the factories are closing, it's really bad over there. But their first quarter GDP was positive 5.4%. Ours was negative 0.3%. And yes, we could say, yes, the numbers are manipulated. But you know what? We could say the same thing about us. That 0.3% could have been 3% negative. We don't know what the real numbers are. Do you really think that the GDP in America was just negative 0.3%? I guarantee you, in the real world, it was much, much worse than 0.3% negative. It was much, much worse than that. So China could be lying about how positive, 5.4%, that maybe it was 1%, maybe it was 2%, maybe it was negative 0.3%. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you have to realize this, and I'm no fan of China. Okay? I don't like the way they treat people. I don't like the way they treat animals. I don't like their politics. I don't like the politics here either. But I'd rather live here than there. That's for sure. You have a way better chance of opportunity and living a fulfilled life here than you do there. All this is very, very manipulated, but we have to remember that they still have the majority of manufacturing in this world. We don't. How do we dig ourselves out of this when we're not making things? And it's wonderful that we're talking about getting factories here, producing things here. That is going to take years, but it has to be done. No matter how long it takes, we got to get these factories and we got to get these jobs back to America. Here's one from Yahoo News, and I wanted to share this with you. 4,200 tickets given out in San Diego in first 2 months of California's daylighting law. So they have a new law in San Diego that it's a crime if you park within 20 feet of a crosswalk. You park your car within 20 feet of a crosswalk during daytime hours, you get a ticket. So 4,200 tickets given out in San Diego. You know, I have such an issue with this because if you've been to San Diego, you're going to see a lot of homeless people. You're going to see graffiti. You're going to see tents. You're going to see problems. There are so many problems in San Diego, and it's a beautiful city. It was once a much more beautiful city. But don't people really resent this, that they have so much crime down there, so many homeless, gangs, tents, you name it, and yet they go after the taxpayer, 4,200 tickets because you park your car 20 feet within a crosswalk. But yet they have an increase in, you name the crime, it's increased. Homeless people breaking into cars, doing drugs, living on the streets, tent cities. They got RVs in areas all over the coast there, along the beach. People living in dilapidated RVs. They don't get a ticket. Why don't these people get a ticket? I mean, but you get the ticket because you got a car and you have a job, and so you got some money. So what a shakedown. And I really resent that as an American. You know, if you get a speeding ticket out here, it's, it's going to be $350, $400. But yet, you can park a dilapidated RV anywhere in the desert here. Use the outdoors as a bathroom. You can just, steal up to $950, and people have gotten away with that for years. So yet it's the taxpayer, the law-abiding citizen, who's going to get, I don't know, is it a $50 ticket, a $100 ticket? It's absolutely ridiculous. It really, really is. When are people just going to have enough of this? We'll finish with this last article on the hedge today. Ukraine signs final Trump brokered minerals deal, giving U.S. Preferential access to resources. So this got signed late yesterday. And my question, please comment down below. It's to all of you. How do you feel about this? Is this a good idea? Do we really want to be over there? Do we want to be doing business with Ukraine? And do you trust this Zelensky guy? He seems like a rat to me. He really does. This guy doesn't seem like he wants peace. And I want to see how this all plays out. I want to see if they really do have the minerals, the rare earth minerals, like they say they do. Because I heard a lot of that really sits in Russia and not Ukraine. I don't know. Is it a good deal? People would say, well, if we don't go there, China's going to go there. Okay, maybe that's so. So maybe it's a good deal. But I don't know. I just feel like here we go again. We're in another country. We're going to be defending another country. We're in bed with Zelensky now. I don't know. I don't really care for it that much. Maybe I'm wrong. Comment down below. Love to know your thoughts. Open my mind on this. Should I be worried about this? Should I not be worried about it? Is it a good deal for America or a bad deal? We do need rare earth minerals for sure. So, but here we are sitting right next door to Russia. The war has, intensified. Hopefully there will be peace. That's one thing I really, really pray for, that we get peace on both sides. Too many people in both those countries have lost their lives. So maybe this will bring peace. Maybe this will bring some peace, and that's a good thing. So maybe it's just too soon to say. I'll leave it at that. Hopefully it works out well. Maybe it will help bring peace, and maybe it's for the best. I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. So that's all I have today. Seems like everything's okay. Tech is back. The Magnificent Seven is back. Everything's going to be okay. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But if you're basing the economy on these markets, you're going to be lost because there's absolutely no relation between the U.S. economy and the stock market at this point. I mean, people are losing jobs, paycheck to paycheck. 10 million people may default now on their student loan debt. Almost $37 trillion in national debt, $200 trillion unfunded liabilities, and yet we're here clapping and celebrating that, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ are up today. Is anybody believing this? I read the comments, and so many people now are going, hey, it's the plunge protection team. This is all manipulated. It's a rigged game. It is. And somebody is going to end the game at some point. Some country, some event is going to just, flip the table upside down. And it needs to happen because we have no idea what the real valuations are. We have no idea what these assets are worth. We have no idea how many zombie companies are out there that should not be out there. We need something to happen. But in the meantime, it's a big game. It's a big manipulated game. It's a rigged game. And how much longer it goes on, I don't know. But we are really heading into a depression here. And as we're watching the stock market go up. It's basically thumbing its nose at 90% of this country because it does not care about you. You don't count. But how many more jobs can they cut before these corporations have their bottom lines affected? Because if you and I aren't buying stuff, then what's going on? I'm going to leave it there today. Comment down below. Please like, share, subscribe. Be careful out there. Be safe. Talk to all of you soon.